Good morning, it's Friday, December 27th, about 6 a.m. Central Time. Overnight, the precious metals are weaker, but they are rising off of their lowest levels of the overnight session, and this comes after yesterday's positive trading session. There were two big standouts that occurred yesterday that really boosted the precious metals. One was the initial claims number. Now, it did fall by 1,000 to 219,000. That wasn't the bullish implication. It was the continuous claims that rose to 1.91 million from 1.86 from the previous week. And that's at its highest level since November 2021. So people that are unemployed are staying unemployed, and that continues to build up week after week. Now, if you look at the Fed Watch tool, you go from 1 week ago, the expectations for a 25 basis point cut at that January 29th meeting went from 8.6% to 10.7%. So we're going to want to keep an eye on and see if this is going to creep up here if the labor market continues to deteriorate. The second thing was there was a 7-year bond auction that came out, and it had really strong gains. There was quite a bit of demand for those 7-year yields. So what happened is the dollar index weakened and treasury yields weakened as well. And that's when you saw gold futures lift up to their highest levels. Now, looking at the overnight session, gold futures right now for February, $26.45, down $8.30. The lowest level was $26.38. The highest was $26.54. So the market is starting to lift back up. You do have silver futures, the high in the overnight session, $30.46, low $30.07. $30 is kind of the bull bear line at the moment, and I anticipate that any kind of steep correction below $30 is going to be met with long-term buyers coming into the market and people positioning for 2025, looking forward for additional Chinese stimulus and things like that. You got aluminum up 15. You've got platinum down $1 at 963. The gold silver ratio sits at 87.5 to 1. Other standouts here, you do have a recovery in Bitcoin up about 1%, Ethereum up 2%. Crude oil futures, there has been a deterioration of what's going on in the Middle East right now, specifically with Israel and the Houthis, and you're seeing crude oil futures rise on that. There's a lot of discussion whether or not Trump will institute severe sanctions on Iran, crippling their oil exports, and that's where crude oil futures can really start to push up and break out to the upside. We did have some problems in South Korea and then also in Germany in the overnight, so you do have the U.S. equity indices under a little bit of pressure here, with the S&P down 18, the NASDAQ down 63, the Dow down 130. So dollar index 107.70 last, and some of the foreign currencies are getting a small boost. So looking at some of the performance and things like that, you could see that this week that really things died down, especially from a volatility standpoint, with the VIX down about 11% on the week. Now, that is your worst performing commodity. You start to look at gold unchanged on the week. The dollar index just slightly positive on the week. Silver futures up just under about 1%. And your best performer on the metals was platinum, up 1.76%. Now, looking at some things here, going out in the next week, we have just a little bit of data coming out because it's going to be another bank holiday on January 1st. And I anticipate that, markets closed early on December 31st. So the only real action we're going to get is going to be Thursday, January 2nd. We'll have those PMI data. And then on Friday, we'll have that as well, the ISM data. So getting back to the gold market, real tight rising range right now. Again, we do have all the same support and resistance levels. We've got that 50-day moving average at 26.95, the 200-day moving average at 25.38. So 2600 is really your critical level of support. Market does need to break back above 26.95 and 27.19 in order to establish a breakout to the upside. Silver futures still below that 200-day moving average at 30.54. Need to see that market close above that and then really recoup that big sell-off here on December 18th and break back out to the upside over about 31.10, 31.15. And then I think that prices can rise back up to $32. So you got any questions, give me a call. I anticipate it to be a lighter volume here day and that the markets here really trade in kind of a defined range at the moment. So you got any questions, give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures option trading does involve risk of loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.